Hello and welcome to this joint production of NewsClick and the Indian Cultural Forum. I have with me Mr. Karan Sundaram, who is the publisher of many of Perumal Murugan's books, and his publishing house was actually set up by his father, who is also a poet and fiction writer, Sundara Ramaswamy. Thank you very much, sir, for sparing your time, and we are very happy to have you here. My first question will be about the history of your publishing house, Kalaichuvadu. Am I pronouncing it right? Okay, Kalaichuvadu. Could you tell us something about the beginnings and when did it become a publishing house per se, publishing in Tamil?
So the magazine was first launched in 1988. The first issue came out in January. It was a quarterly magazine, and my father was the editor publisher. I was not involved. I was somewhere else studying, and I came to know about the magazine only through a letter he wrote to me that he's going to start a magazine. So then 8 issues came, and in those 8 issues I was only a reader of those magazines. He used to send me the copies and I used to read them. I was not involved in any way in the selection process or in the process of framing the magazine or the naming the magazine or any of that. And then then by 1989 he stopped the magazine after 8 issues. So he said that probably it was interfering in his activity as a writer. Also that he felt that his temperament was not suitable for an editor. Also that he didn't get the kind of support he expected from his friends whom he expected to write in the magazine, and they didn't respond with contribution. So he couldn't bring it as a good magazine the way he wanted. So for all these reasons he stopped the magazine. Then after I finished my education, I decided not to, though I did an engineering course, I decided not to pursue for a work in city or live there. I decided to come back to my town, and then we had a textile shop in the town. I wanted to take over that, and after it is well established, then I want to start or redo the magazine, which was a different magazine which I had through my experience of living in Bangalore and going to the British Council Library and reading all the international magazines and papers. I had an idea of a magazine which I wanted to do. So for that I needed money, and then I had to do that business. So that was my idea. So I came back, and then after I came back, my father decided to do one number of that magazine, and then formally ended with this as his editor. Yeah. So we did that number. Doing that number, I was involved in many ways. Not in the selection of the content, but giving him ideas and the production of the magazine and all that. And then the magazine stopped, and I was fully into the business. And after 2 or 3 years, when I thought that I have sort of established it well, and it is a profitable venture now, and I could afford to lose some money in doing something I wanted to do. So then I approached him and said that, can I restart the magazine now? And I don't think he was very enthusiastic, but he didn't stop me. So we had a registered magazine with a name with us, but he formally took me to the office and then transferred the registration to my name. And then he sort of dissociated himself in the magazine in a very formal way. And then we started this same name magazine with a different framework completely. Then I had invited some friends to join me, and we started this magazine in 1994. So after 1 or 2 years, my father had a difference of opinion with his publisher. He felt that all his books are not in print available at any one time, and the publisher is publishing them at a very slow pace. So he asked me to go and meet the publisher and request him to bring out all his books at one time or within a short period of time and keep them all in print. And the publisher said he is unable to do so for money reasons and other reasons. So then he pulled out of that publishing house, and now he had to find a publisher. So at that point, asked me, why don't we publish them ourselves? Now, so after some hesitation, I decided that we will do that. But I didn't clearly plan this to be a very big publishing house. I had few other writers who were not available in print, my favorite writers. I thought we will do just those writers as a beginning. So in 1995, we started the publishing house, and 1996, the first books came out. Then over the next 4 or 5 years, we didn't publish more than 10 books, 1, 2 books every year. The books of my father and the other books we wanted to bring out. And we were also just beginning to explore this new thing of DTP technology and doing printing away from a place where there are no printers. I mean, no digital printing. So we were usually till then that uh, all the publishing houses remained in Chennai, where the printers were, or they would be in Sivagasi, where again the printers were there, but not anywhere else, because obviously that you need to be in that environment. But the DTP technology was just coming in the 90s when we were starting, so we decided to form a publishing house right from our town, but the printing would be done in Chennai, so that became possible. So we are exploring all the difficulties of all that and slowly bringing out the books. We were learning the process of publishing, how to select the right font, the right software, set up a computer and all that. So it was taking time and we were doing it at a very slow pace. We didn't plan to be a publisher, so we are not in a hurry. But we are doing very ambitious works that would involve some kind of research, looking for original documents and all those things.
So I wanted to ask you that you have actually published several of Perumal Murugan's, in fact, work. In fact, you've published 10 books by him, and
I publish almost right now. I publish almost all his writings,
books, which is actually
except
huge.
1 or 2 works.
I wanted to ask you that again I might be pronouncing it wrongly. Madhuru Bhagan. So that book is just one of the books that you have published by Perumal Murugan. You have published, in fact, 10 other books by him and 10 other volumes edited by him. So, so that's a huge oeuvre of publishing. So I would ask you, how did you get to know him, and what was your relationship with him, and when did you start publishing, and when was this relationship forged?
See, my relationship with him began as a reader, as I was reading Tamil small magazines and books. I came across his writings, and this was probably in the early 90s, 91, 92, even before I started my magazine. And then I sort of liked what he wrote. And then when I began my magazine, I admitted him to, he had sent a few pieces which he published. And then I sort of had a feeling that, in Perumal Murugan, whom I had not met till then, that we are sort of fellow travelers in the path I want to take. So in 1998, I was going to, as a part of my business tour, I was going to a town nearby where he lived. So I wrote him a letter, so I gave him a time and place, and I asked him, can we meet here? So he wrote back saying, I'll come there. So in Salem, the town of Salem, we met probably in 1996 or 97. He had come to my room and we chatted. And that was more about his contribution to the magazine, because the publishing house was still very small one, and our first aims were to publish my father Sundaram Sami's writings and a few other works. So I was not really looking for new manuscripts for the publishing house, but I want to write on a continuous basis, maybe a column or articles or story, all that, whatever he wants to do. I wanted to feel the freedom to contribute in any way he'd like to the magazine. And he was also looking for at that point he was looking for a medium, for a magazine or a media where he can freely express himself. So we just started working together in the magazine. He used to regularly contribute and I used to publish it. And only later on, after a few years after that, maybe in this millennium, that I probably gave his first book. I don't remember exactly which year. But for nearly the last 10 years, slowly I have been becoming his publisher. And whatever he published with other publishers, voluntarily he was giving them over to me, because we had a very comfortable relationship. And right now, except for 1 or 2 very small works, I publish almost the complete writings and edited works, his poetry, his short stories, novels, everything is published by Kalachud right now.
I was reading your Indian Express article that came out recently, and you write there that writers are really not given the kind of recognition they deserve, except for a few places, such as in West Bengal and other Indian English writers. But in the recent past, we have seen that even in the world of English publishing, publishers really haven't stood up for their own writers as much as they should have. You are one of the rare exceptions, because I was going through your affidavit that you have submitted to the court. So there is also a legal case going on around the controversy with the Hindu right wing against the particular book in question. So, how do you see this? Firstly, I would like to ask you, what exactly is the court proceeding going? Where exactly is the court proceeding going? And also, how much do you think should publishers and writers really work together as one whole team, both ideologically as well as when during times of turmoil?
So first, regarding the court case, I think we are in the final stages of the hearings, and the first hearing happened on 26th, and the next is scheduled for November 30th. That is the day after tomorrow, and we are hoping that this is probably the time for judgment after these hearings are over. So that's the feeling I have. And I am not a petitioner to this case. Because I could not take this case to the court because there was no agency that was formally stopping me from publishing the works of Perumal Murugan. So I had nobody to complain against. It was that non-state players were threatening Perumal Murugan, and he was asking me not to publish. So obviously I can't go to court against my author. So I didn't go to the court, but an organization, a writers' organization of the Communist Party Marxist, called the Tamu Yesa in Tamil, they went to the court, and they made me one of the respondents. So as a respondent, my lawyer is the president of the PUCL of India now, Dr. Suresh. So he offered to be my lawyer, and I was happy to accept him because I wanted to fight this case involving the contemporary political milieu and climate in India. So we together prepared that petition, which I have filed in the court now, and he is going to argue on the case on November 30th. The others have already argued, so that's how the case is going right now. As far as my stand with Perumal Murugan is concerned, I think I have faced this challenge of freedom of expression of authors right from the day I relaunched my magazine. Because we were very clear from the beginning that we are not going to tell any writer, don't write this way, don't use these words, don't use these phrases, and don't say these things in this manner. That we are not going to say that, and we are going to allow the writers to speak about any topic they wish and write about anything they want. And we were very bold in publishing those works from the first issue that we brought out. And right from the first issue, the controversy also began, that we are publishing vulgar fiction. We are putting out ideas that should not be, discussed, that we are spoiling the atmosphere, bringing down Tamil culture. So all that began, and that was pretty intense for me. The attacks were very intense for me.
So
but
this is the 90s.
This is the mid-90s. But it was a small circle. It won't come in the paper, it won't come in the media, but it would come to me as a phone call, come to me as a letter, or it would be published in another magazine. And I was very sensitive to those attacks. But so that for me the crucial fight happened in those times, and I had hardened myself through those experiences. And we were very, very clear. We published many of the Dalit writings which came out in those times, and they were challenging through their ideas the hegemony of the earlier generations of writers, and that was not well received. And then practically the entire woman writing movement in Tamil, which emerged in the 1990s, mostly happened through Kalachodu. And those poets were writing about sexuality, about their body, about their desires, things that good Tamil women are not supposed to do. And that again became a huge controversy. They were abused in the media, they were taken to court, and we always stood by them, those controversies, but they were not at this scale. So they probably you wouldn't have heard of them, but that at one point in the early 2000, the woman writing controversy became quite big, and then Tamil took a documentary of those 4 women writers. They got translated into English, a book came out in English, all that happened. So it is not that suddenly I have stood up by Perumal Murugan. The point is that I have always stood up by all my writers, either they contribute to the magazine or in the publishing house. Perumal Murugan was the first controversy that that became international controversy.
You are here, of course, to receive the award, the Samanvay Samman, which has been given to Perumal Murugan for his book one part woman. I'm using the name of the English translation. And he has actually again been threatened to attend this event here in Delhi. So you are here to event, and we will in fact have that ceremony today, later in the evening. My question to you is, how is Perumal Murugan doing now? And he has completely silenced himself in a ways, but how is he coping with all of this?
See, even while he accepted this award, one of the things he told me was that I'll have to go and receive the award in his place, that he is not going to come. And also, in fact, he cannot come in the sense that he had said that Perumal Murugan, the writer, is dead, and therefore he can't appear here to receive the award. So, the reason for not coming here is not the controversy or the threats to him coming to this event. It is that before he comes to this event as a writer, he has to either take back the statement that he made, and for that, the things have to change. From the reason why he made the statement, those reasons still remain. So unless there is a shift or a break in those reasons, he can't take back the statement. Unless he does that, he cannot come to this event or write anything. So that is the situation. He himself, I think, was very deeply shocked, hurt by this developments around the novel Matrubagan, especially because he is somebody who wrote only about his people and that particular part of Tamil Nadu, Kongu, and he very much wanted to live in that town among his people and write about their lives, and also work around that culture in many ways, not just fiction writing. He has worked on anthologies of writers from that area. He has done a dictionary of words specific to that culture. So he has worked in many ways, like a chronicler of that subculture of Tamil Nadu. And he had to leave that town. And the people are protesting against him, and there was a complete bandh.
Yeah, in fact, there was a whole day bandh, which was
a very successful bandh. So all that very deeply hurt him, and I think that has not come to an end. So recently he went to the Sangam Writers Residency again last month, and he spent 2 weeks there early this month. But again, he didn't go there to the idea of writing anything, but just to try to come back to a more normal. So probably try to read. Earlier on, he even stopped reading newspapers, and then he started reading. Only very recently, he started reading books, and and papers, and trying to come back to a normal semblance of life. So at that part of that process, he went to the writers' residency and spent some time there. He just came back. So that is the situation he is now. That even say tomorrow morning, the controversy comes to an end somehow. I don't think he'll start writing in December or January. I don't think that's not so.
In fact, I'll just read the statement again. Author Perumal Murugan is dead. He is no god, hence he will not resurrect. Hereafter only Perumal Murugan, the humble teacher, will live. P. Murugan, the humble teacher, will live. What do you think is the recent reactions by the writers? Does it help in a way, the recent writers' protest against the Sahitya Academy? Do you think these ideas of these collectives of writers who come together and then they launch into a collective voice against a certain force, do you think that if writers come together into some kind of a political formation, if not partisan, at least political formation, it will help the culture of politics which is affecting a writer completely into silence, such that his normal, as you said, that currently the concern is to come back to normalcy of life. So do you think these collective defenses by writers help?
See, I think like I had written in my piece in the Indian Express that the writers returning the awards, when it started happening, it was not coordinated. The first writer was not hoping that other people are going to continue after him, and probably they may not know that it's going to become a movement of sorts. But it has happened, and I think it has had an impact that probably any other writers acts together, put collectively together, has happened before, at least to my knowledge, in India. Maybe there are other instances which I don't know about. But I don't think it is a collective action or a movement. I'm not sure writers are meant to sit together in one place draft manifestos and work together towards a particular aim. They would work comfortably the way this has happened now. They're not talking to each other, they're not consulting each other. They just, the times are producing certain instances, certain reactions which worries all of them, and then somebody starts something and they decide this is a good way to express your discontent, and they do it in their own way. And probably if you call them all together into one forum, that may not go the way you want. I don't think writers are made that way, that they don't tend to conform to any particular politics unless they are already into a political formation. So this works very well with me, that I don't think the Kannada writer who gave back the award was speaking to the Hindi writer or the Bengali writer, to other writers. And it's a time, there's a need of time that has brought them forward. And that obviously has had some impact among many other things in the elections in Bihar, which has again, had an impact in the way things are happening. Probably will have a good impact on the way things are happening in this country. All this, I think, has slightly improved the situation from where Perumal Murugan incident started, because I think this whole intolerant debate, it came out of the Perumal Murugan incident, because as the Perumal incident happened, all was going well with the present political formation. It was a honeymoon period, and it was a success story, and that was the first instance where the idea of development and make in India, all that were sidelined, and the writer was asked to stop writing, withdraw his book. There was a demand for his arrest, and that was when this undercurrent of the Hindutva agenda came out first on a national level. It was not only the Hindutva agenda. There is a very clearly an instance of majority and caste formation, not wanting a writer to talk about things that they don't like, that doesn't suit to their present.
Also, in fact, their imagined narrative of a particular religion.
And that very clearly well suited with the Hindu agenda as well. So they both came together through this controversy. So I think that is what has happened then. And personally, I feel that Perumal Murugan saying that the writer is dead probably has affected all the writers in India, and that also might have in some way worked towards the sending back awards, the award opposite movement as well. That is my personal gut feeling.
Okay. In fact, I was also reading that H. Raja, who is also contending for the chair, for the BJP president seat in the state unit, has also condemned the Samanvay, someone that has been given.
Also, the few other leaders at the local Hindu organizations, they condemned and they issued statements which didn't make it to the national press, I suppose, but they did come out in the local Tamil magazine.
So how are you coping with this? Because you are the one who has come here, you have to have, as you said, there is a court hearing day after tomorrow. How are you coping with all of this now?
See, even as the controversy began, actually I live there is only one seat for the BJP in Tamil Nadu. There is only one MP who is also a minister now, but that is from my town. So I live in the only place where BJP has a complete domination in the state of Tamil Nadu. Actually, the office is quite opposite to my publication office. But at the local level, I did not have any threat from the party directly, because publishing house is there. But the possibility was always there, and my family, my wife was attacked on Facebook by RSS people. All these things were there. But at that point, I decided not to talk about these things, because I want the writer to be in focus, because he is the center of what is happening and not the publishing house. So those threats were there. I also got phone calls. But the way I encountered this controversy, and I wanted him to encounter the controversy, was different from the way in which he responded. So that I have to make it very clear. My thing was that he must not go to that meeting when the government called him, and that he has to move out of the town voluntarily and go to a safe place, and from there he has to fight this event through court or any other manner. And I was prepared to support him and create the environment for him to do all that. But for other reasons, that he did not want to leave the town, and that he had very deep family commitments, not just his family, also the larger family. Also that he could not think of moving to a city and living there away from his people, and he did not want to cut his connections with the local culture of people. Rather, he wanted to negotiate, he wanted to explain, and he wanted to prove his genuinity and somehow cross this controversy. That was his approach, which I understood clearly. So while I had a different perspective, I agreed with what he did, and then I supported him in what he wanted to take the controversy the way he wanted forward. So our responses were completely different. I am taking a more political, more aggressive stance in this controversy. So that's how the things stand there. But we have very perfect, he has accepted what I do as a publisher, and I have accepted and understood why he responds the way he does as a writer.
Okay. Mr. Kanan Sundaram, thank you very much, and congratulations, because we will have the award ceremony today. You will receive the Samman, and I really hope that firstly, that there are more publishers like you who stand by their authors, even when there is the national media looking away, or when it hasn't really reached the kind of a certain level where you can receive a lot of support. And I really hope that Mr. Perumal Murugan also starts writing and things come back to normal. And thank you very much again.